Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining me. We'll get started in just a second. We're going to go over Lemonade's earnings and its future potential. Before we do, please go ahead and hit subscribe to my channel to keep up with all of my latest investing and personal finance content. And please check out the link you see on your screen for a special message from our sponsor, The Motley Fool, where you can get the 10 best stocks to buy right now. So, we recently heard third quarter earnings results from Lemonade. Lemonade's the insurance disruptor. They specialize originally in renters insurance, but they also offer pet insurance, homeowners insurance, life insurance, and most recently, auto insurance. So there was a lot to like about the third quarter earnings report. So, for one thing, revenue was up more than 100%. Granted, a lot of this was due to the Metro Mile auto insurance acquisition that was completed, but it's still a pretty positive sign. In-force premium was up 76% year over year. Less than half of that growth was due to Metro Miles, so a lot of this was actual growth in Lemonade's business. The company now has 1.78 million customers. It wasn't that long ago that Lemonade cracked the 1 billion barrier, so or 1 million barrier. So it's growing very fast. That's really the big takeaway from the quarter in terms of good things. There are some other good developments as well. Lemonade announced a partnership with the pet company Chewy, that where Chewy will offer Lemonade's pet insurance product to its over 20 million customers. So that could also be a pretty big catalyst for future growth. It expanded into its fourth international market, the UK, where it just launched what's the equivalent of renters insurance over there. And last but not least, Lemonade ended the quarter with $1.1 billion of cash and investments on its balance sheet. Keep in mind, Lemonade's only about a 1.4 to $1.5 billion market cap company. So that means the market's only valuing Lemonade's business at about $400 million right now. The rest of that is all cash on its balance sheet. That's a lot of financial flexibility for a company of its size. But on the bad note, Lemonade is still losing money very quickly. Its net loss was better than expected, but it still lost over $91 million on just 74 million in revenue. That's more than a negative 100% negative 100% or net profit margin. So it's losing money fast, and the big reason is that it can't get underwriting under control. Now, its gross loss ratio was 94% in the third quarter. That means for every $100 it collected in premiums from its customer, it paid out 94% of that to cover claims. You might imagine that doesn't leave a lot of room for Lemonade to cover overhead expenses and hopefully make a profit, which it didn't this quarter. The target is a 75% loss ratio. So 94% is pretty far from the 75% target. To be fair, some of this was due to the Metro Mile acquisition, which Lemonade had said would temporarily add 3 to 5 percentage points to that loss ratio, and the company blamed most of it on Hurricane Ian as kind of an unexpected event. Which, to be fair, as an insurer, you need to expect these unexpected events and plan for them. You can't lose $90 million every quarter that a hurricane comes. This happened a year or so ago with the big Texas freeze. That was another unexpected event, and the company really needs to get that under control. Um, so there are a bunch of unanswered questions. Can Lemonade consistently get its loss ratio under 75%? It's been around that mark in certain quarters. A year ago, it was at 77%. So it can get close to that or perhaps under that, but the question is, can it do that consistently? And Lemonade believes that with the customers that are signing up now will eventually achieve profitability. The company says it will take a little while for it to really, you know, achieve consistent 75% loss ratios from its customers. So that's one of it. And two, the company is intentionally pumping the brakes on growth, but it's unclear what that will mean. Lemonade says its quote optimal cash burn rate would produce about 20 to 25% annual growth, as opposed to like the 70% annual growth that we've been seeing. So 20 to 25% growth would still be fantastic if it accelerates Lemonade's path to profitability. The company had said that it expected losses to peak in the third quarter of 2022, the one that we just got results for. So if we see losses start to narrow, that would be a very good sign. So is Lemonade a 100x candidate over the long run? That would put it at about $150 billion market cap. So my honest answer is probably not anytime soon, but it could be a nice 10x candidate going forward. So I interviewed Lemonade's co-founder and CEO Dan Schreiber not that long ago, and he said his goal for the business was to 10x the business and then 10x it again, at which point it would be roughly a mid-sized insurance company. To be fair, he said this in 2021 before the Metromile acquisition. So revenue wasn't really what it is now. In-force premium wasn't the $609 million it is now. But just to put this in perspective, Lemonade has, as I just mentioned, $609 million in-force premium. Geico has around $20 billion. MetLife has about $26 billion. Progressive has 26 million insurance policies. Lemonade has about 1.8 million, so a small fraction of it. So there is room for Lemonade to multiply its business many times over. And the company's proven that it can give customers a product they want and can grow. It's just a matter of how much is that growth costing them. In other words, when they stop burning through so much cash, how much growth will they actually be able to produce? And will they be able to do so profitably? They're using a somewhat different business model than other insurers. Other insurance don't have a targeted loss ratio and a targeted expense ratio, and Lemonade hopes to give a lot of the difference to charity. It's called the Give Back program. So they use somewhat of a different business model. They rely a lot more on reinsurance contracts than other insurers, for example. But the market potential here is massive. The auto insurance market alone that they're just starting to ramp up in is an $800 billion market globally. About $350 billion of that is in the US alone. Lemonade estimates that its current customers would bring in $1 billion of auto insurance premium. So big opportunity here. The average auto loan customer spends about 10 times what the average renter's insurance customer does, which so far renters is Lemonade's bread and butter. That's what it started on. That's kind of its big strategy, is to build out a customer base using a very cheap form of insurance like renter's insurance, show that it can do insurance differently, create a lot of satisfied customers, and then create kind of an ecosystem of insurance. So the total insurance market is about $5 trillion worldwide. That includes things like auto, homeowners, life, which all three of which, by the way, Lemonade has a piece of right now. So there is a lot of room to grow that $609 million in in-force premium. So the potential is definitely there. There are a lot of unanswered questions, especially related to profitability. I don't much question the growth. I think Lemonade will grow to 5 to 10 times its current size within the next decade. The question is, will it do so profitably? And that is a big question mark right now. Once again, thank you so much for joining me. Be sure to click subscribe if you don't subscribe to my channel already. And as always, this video is sponsored by The Motley Fool. Be sure to visit www.fool.com/Frankel to receive the top 10 best stocks to buy now.